Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. Told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your man.
Stomping the floppy shoes so hard, Italy to class delirious. You praying to stop so much, it's like you're having a religious experience. Despite all of your denials, I know that you know me and your crew. Ask your girl the last time she phoned me. Allegedly, just admit that even now you sing along. And even after I wreck you, you gotta bump my song. You should copyright loser because the dictionary cloned you. Crushed so hard, now my cleats own you. It's that umbrella guy, clutching the verbal hammer, locking you down in this inescapable syllable slammer. You wanna step up and try to oppose me? Yeah, you should ask anyone that really knows me. I'll take your blame, your girl, your dog, and move in your home, only to get out the verbal flamethrower and consume your plastic gnomes. You drift, you whip, you ride, your bride consumed by this mic hitter, just to drop them on the market to the highest bidder. It's that umbrella guy, live from the hat rack, with elbows that hit so hard you'll think it's a nuclear impact. I mean respecting you, please, that's the word you'll never earn. Yet another lesson you clowns have never learned. Along with standing tall and pride and repping values that you feel, and not fake morals you found inside your happy meal. I listen to you with your speaking still education, wondering if your parents bred with their relations, wearing your big red nose and still thinking that you're a star, while you're forced to bump that umbrella guy inside your clown car. Yeah, it's that umbrella guy, broadcasting live to the masses, timing out full, sorry we ran out of free passes. We gotta go further and not just expose you, listen and believe royalty, we gotta depose you. Getting masked up because this flow is criminal, dropping hammers so hard, they're subliminal. Unconsciously you want me to own you, as the parasol pope is set to dethrone you. And I'm out.
All right, what's up, folks? Man, what a freaking day. We have a lot on the day today. We have another case falls down. That's right. It is falling. It has anxiety over the roof. Apparently, Scott Stark at least did. He has anxiety over the roof. We have yet another one fall, though. We have answers to. Now, there's I'm sure there will be some weird spin on this, but we have filing 106 and 107. We had a judge order on 108 striking them, but 106 and 107, these are Randy filings in the federal case. He answered the counterclaims And then he did basically a slap motion, which I'll point out. And the judge essentially said you can't put those two things together in one filing. So they're stricken. So what's going to happen is they're going to be refiled separately. I mean, you watch. That's what's going to happen. So that's interesting stuff. So the filings will remain. It's just that they'll be separated, I'm sure. So we'll look that stuff over. I mean, this has been a wild freaking day. Who would have thought the thumbnail case first falls? You know, when you saw the way that it was put together and it fell, the trespass 5 case, I kept saying the trespass 5 case is a garbage case. It is an absolute garbage filing. One of the worst I've seen. In fact, I think, I think we should really one day have let's go over that again, just because you can see, like, I would never, first of all, I would have never filed that to begin with, but it falling, I'm not surprised whatsoever. I think, like I said, the trespass 5 case, filing is one of the worst filings I have ever seen in my life. I'm not saying that just because, of any opinion on anything or whatnot. I'm saying it really is. It is one of the worst filings I have ever seen. So after it fell, I really wonder if they're afraid that you were going to have Lynette Preston have to speak, have to be deposed, and Scott Stark was going to be the attorney on record there. Like, they're so afraid that she's going to have something to say. But it's fascinating. So now again, they will say, oh, we can file it again. And yeah, that's right, they can. But no, they're not going to. They're not. They dismiss it with prejudice. They're looking down the barrel of sanctions again. They will be sanctioned for this, because here's the thing. Bruce doesn't think that you can get sanctioned either. He made the same stupid argument back when, and I'm sure he'll probably pick the same argument up again. Give me 1 second here. I'm downloading something while we're talking. But he made the argument before, with the thumbnail case, that sanctions need not apply. Well, they do. You don't just get to sue somebody, drop it because, hey, something's inconvenient in it, and not end up potentially facing some kind of ramification for it. You just get to run around suing everybody, get sue happy, and it never have any kind of consequences. It does. So we're looking down the barrel of potential sanctions. I'm sure there will be sanctions. Again, they didn't just dismiss. Here's the problem that they ran into. I'm going to pull up the filing on that too. This is 100% confirmed. You had also, do me a favor today, if you would. Jeremy Hale's put out a short on that being dismissed, and I was watching the numbers on it, and it was strange because that video didn't seem to go anywhere. Like, it wasn't recommended to anybody, it felt like, and it was very strange the way that it did. So if you would today, make sure that you help pump those numbers up on that short. Make sure that other people can see it, because a lot of people probably don't even know what the heck, what's going on with it. It was so bizarre, though. But it has been a crazy day. By the way, 2,000 of you already here. Actually, 2,000. That's a funny number. 22 are here right now. Thank you. It's good to see you. And prompts, I want to give love to Madam Mayor. I want to give love to everybody that's in there. So I want to, Madam Mayor especially, and Brett. Actually, let's pull up all the names. Let's pull up that document. Would you like to see the document of voluntary dismissal, baby? Oh my goodness. It is an official document. Would you like to see it? It's very short, but it is an official document. So we can pull it up here and look at it and laugh about it. And then we can laugh about BBB and what he thinks about sanctions from the thumbnail case. Now, let's pull this up. Oh, I love it. So there's a voluntary dismissal You know, it's funny. I was saying yesterday, well, before this, I was saying, who knows what's going on with the thumbnail lawsuit? It was like it was a parking space, you know, like it was there and we all knew it was there. We all knew it existed, but you didn't have any movement in it. And not just any movement, you didn't have any discussion over it. It was like the ecosystem, they want to pretend it's not there. And it was so bizarre. Remember, too, this is yet another case that has fallen flat on its face. And with voluntary dismissal, it's another freaking case that they have been totally wrong on. This is, even with what's fascinating, the first thing I thought when I saw this is, man, Jeremy Hales wins another one. His, you know, and you can say, well, he's not a party in the case. Well, he kind of wasn't, and I mean, he wasn't as far as names for defendants, and yet he was. You know what I mean? He was as far as somebody that they brought up. And again, worst filing I've ever seen. We've got to look at that filing a little bit today. It is, oh my God, it's so funny. But Stark, I mean, remember what happened a couple of days ago? This just happened on the 19th. So this sets off there's this chain of events, and I told you something was coming with that. You could feel it. You could feel it. They didn't. I felt like the ecosystem. You know, I'm gonna call LMNOP, John Cook, all of them. I'm gonna call them the ecosystem. All of them there. I felt like they didn't know what to do with this. You know, because again, you've got a loser of a case, but more importantly, LMNOP is terrible when she is asked legitimate questions, right? So you could imagine Scott Stark, who has no idea what is going on in a case, actually setting in for depot. Like, how do you think that would go? I think it would go either just like what we saw with the protective order case, you know, the one that had been dismissed, or worse. Speaking of which, by the way, you know, there was a video that mentioned this too. So apparently there's been another another loss for Ohio too. Wow. So that's what I'm understanding. You know, again, details on that. I don't have all the details on that or anything, but we'll see what we can find out on that. But you know, the protective order has been it's a tad tricky in that too. You know, the items that have come up with it, the ecosystem, like I said, they're the ones who leaked the fact that we got the protective order. We actually found out about the violation. Now it looks like there's another violation. So you've got that. You got this. This is the second case that has fallen. You have the hearing that is coming up in April for BBB, where he's under the gun. I mean, holy crap. It is like the stars have aligned. And you know they're going to be spinning. Like I said, they're going to try to spin this. But my God, look how bad things have been going. They are terrible for them right now. So this is, again, it's a notice of voluntary dismissal. And like I said, I'm sure the spin is going to be this, because the spin was the same with the thumbnail lawsuit. They're going to say, well, we voluntarily dismissed it and we can pick it back up. You know, you don't do that. Come in, try to refile everything that you did in the last case. It makes it look like, again, if you go and pick it back up and try to play this again, what it looks like is ye old polyflop. You know, they just got polyflop. Oh man, I made a picture of that. I forgot to send it to myself. It was on the thumbnail. Let me send that to myself. I forgot I was having fun with pictures today too, and I forgot to send that to me. So give me 1 second there. Apologies. I forgot about that. That was a fun one too. I'm going to send that over to myself real quick. We need that to pull up here, because this is definitely a little more polyfloppage. I swear they keep polyflopping all over my floor, all over my screen. These cases, man, You know, they told you that Polyflop was someone essentially going out and just vexatiously opening case after case after case. Well, when they're dropping cases like this and they're pulling the BS they do, isn't that exactly what they're doing? I mean, aren't they kind of admitting to that? Because if it were a legit case, you'd be sitting there following through with it, right? I mean, that would make sense, yeah. So doesn't it seem like they're kind of admitting? Here you go, in that beautiful picture. We just polyflopped. Love it. Oh man, we just polyflopped hard, baby. Again, I make jokes about this, but I don't wish this on anybody. You know, I do. I laugh about it and everything, but again, love to Madam Mayor. I would actually love to talk to you guys since this stuff has been dismissed. I would love to talk to you about what your thoughts on it and everything. I didn't bother you all while the lawsuit was going on because you're in the middle of it. You know, the best advice to people that are facing litigation is keeping your mouth shut. You know, I'm sure counsel tells you things like that. So but with it being voluntarily dismissed, I would love to get some thoughts on this because it has been just, I mean, a mess. Like it has been an absolute freaking mess in there. But like I said, we get this. Now, this is very short. Again, it's crazy too. Looking at this, I always forget that you have the minor HG. I hate bringing up look at this too. Oh my God. You want to see something funny? You want me to tell you how bad Stark is? Okay, this is a Stark filing. You notice this, right? Now, I want to show you something because he knows so little about this case. I wonder, did he type this? I feel like he typed this because it's very short, right? He look at the parties involved in there. You know, they filed the beginning. Okay, with the very beginning, it's HG. So the parties. Actually, I have that pulled up here. So this is a new one. Again, you don't change names during proceedings. You know, maybe you have 15 million aliases, but still, you know, you're supposed to, no matter what, you're supposed to maintain a name through it. So you have MG Preston, not HG, which again, that is what they filed in the beginning. Check this. Let's see. That's the right document. See, there's the original filing document where they put it in. Huh. Isn't that fascinating? You know? Now they filed MG, they filed HG through. So MG minor girl, no, they put HG. They filed her name. So just to say, they did put her name in there. So when they're dropping it, you know, names don't just suddenly change. I just thought that was fascinating. I was like, wait a minute. So anyway, let's pull this back up. You know, at the end, it's their document. So notice of voluntary dismissal. Come now, again, it's short. The plaintiff by and through her undersigned attorney who files this. What? Come now, the plaintiff by and through her undersigned attorney. It should be files this. Who files this, her notice of voluntary dismissal of her action without prejudice to all defendants pursuant to Florida Rule 1.420A1. Now, without prejudice, again, remember, without prejudice means, yes, you can refile. So just noting that will be the spin. It will be spun a lot. But what this does is it opens the door for sanctions. Because you think about it, you know, there was a lot of discussion about this too. You had a DUI guy discuss this with the thumbnail litigation. You remember, say, you have the certificate with it. I certify that a true and correct copy of the foregoing has been furnished to Randy Shockett at his law office. Boom. So, boom, the case is gone. Now, like I said, isn't it fascinating when we think about this? First of all, like again, congratulations to everybody that has been involved. This, I'm sure it's very trying. You don't want to deal with this stuff. And another case falls. It was a garbage case. I cannot stress that enough. But still, when people are facing litigation, it doesn't matter if it's a garbage case or not, nonsense or not. It's lawfare. It's the way that people really try to harass. And they try to harass these folks for nothing more than going on property and helping an elderly veteran, I should say. I was going to say an elderly gentleman, but an elderly veteran remove his property from said property. So he was getting his stuff. He invited them on. He couldn't do it himself. He did that with police. They did that rather with police present. And even with that, isn't it bizarre though? They'll still need to spend all that money to defend. Yeah, here's another thing too. I kept wondering. So we had, we had today the Zim depot scheduled. Right. I don't know anything about that either. I believe that was today. Right. And I kept thinking this. They're still fundraising for the last time that there was depot. They're still fundraising for Jeremy. You know, they've gotten about 3K now on that bill. So, and again, like I said, they will end up eventually making that money, I'm sure, but it hasn't been moving very quickly. At one time, I wonder if they thought people like, again, David the donor, they were going to come sweeping in there and they would cover all expenses, you know, because they had somebody that was just inflating that war chest and was just throwing money in there. Bam, bam, bam. Now it's running slow. How do you conduct lawfare like that? It's expensive, as Jeremy has said. You know, first of all, discounting any kind of personal hit for that, because it's very expensive on the personal front. You know, as far as health, that would be physical and mental health, relations, any relation. I'm not just talking about relations like with love. I'm talking about anybody around you. You know, you worry, it stresses that it's awful, but also, I mean, you're talking about hits in the pocket. Jeremy's talking about over 300K now. Now, you know, even if you remove the costs of the lawyer themselves throwing in money, you still have to be able to afford all this other stuff. Now, the buzzwords, I think BBB thought he could get a lot of people on board. He thought he could talk in an army of people to actually facing off with the old YouTuber. And he talked about bringing on, you know, all these different people, doing all of this stuff. He's going to have all these lawyers and more. And that didn't materialize. So how are they supposed to afford all of this? And again, they're not just looking at the costs there. They're looking at sanctions. They're looking at sanctions in 3 different cases. I mean, that's wild. And remember, now this was his idea for the thumbnail litigation. You remember, this feels like it was forever ago, right? Remember when he was telling you that you wouldn't have scared. Remember, he was talking about the thumb. And again, remember, both of them were dismissed. This is why I bring this up. You know, back when he tried to tell people that there's no basis to seek damages unless, and there are, you can seek damage. You can, you know, you spend a lot of money fighting this off. He can't just come in and be like, well, I'm paying for this out of my time, so it's free for her. And Jeremy's going to be financially, see, that's what I think they thought they would do. They thought they would reach in his pocket, rip out however much money that was. Maybe they could, you know, get the payday out of it for sure. But also, lawfare is expensive, you know, for people to face off. If you have somebody that's writing all the briefs and all of that, and they're doing it for free, well, it's a lot cheaper for you. But still, you have all the costs related to the court. Now, when they dropped the thumbnail litigation, this is what he had to say. Remember, he said there weren't any sanctions hearing. That's garbage, because this was their idea back when. There's no basis to seek damages for having to spend money to defend a frivolous lawsuit. I like, by the way, he even called the lawsuit frivolous. You notice that? You notice his descriptor? Like, what amazed me when he describes these lawsuits, he says they're frivolous. Huh. Strange descriptor to call your own actions you're involved in, right? Seems like a slip up in the old admissions column. But he said there's no basis to seek damage for having to spend money to defend a frivolous lawsuit unless you've prevailed on the other underlying allegedly frivolous lawsuit. See, now it's allegedly, but it was frivolous before, lawsuit on its merits. It was voluntarily dismissed without prejudice, so it could be refiled. Now, again, you think about how dumb this argument is. And DUI got crushed this before. And you saw that it wasn't conspiracy. There was a hearing. Then you had Stark come in and delay the proceedings. He said, "Oh, I'm sick. I can't do anything with this." You got to wonder. I mean, it's like the house of cards fell down. Like a DUI guy told you. Give me 1 minute. There was a wonderful little back and forth with all of that. It was actually a very fun chapter. Not, again, like I said, when I say all of this stuff, I am not saying that I would wish that on anyone. But DUI guy had noted, he was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave this here for those in doubt. Florida safe harbor law. That gives a party 21 days to voluntarily dismiss unfounded claims without facing sanctions. 21 days. Wow. This law is intended to discourage baseless claims and unnecessary litigation costs. So the safe harbor law is enacted. You get 21 days, and then you can be sanctioned for it. And that is very much, you know who that potentially, depending on how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of interesting questions that have been opened up in this stuff. And it's going to be really interesting to see what Randy can find out. What exactly you can ask with associate. I don't know how far you can go with sanction. Like the deposing of Scott Stark, for example, we saw with the thumbnail litigation. Like what other wonderful things come from all of this? Again, we had it was like they hit the pause button, like Jeremy noted. Again, a few days ago, it was like everything hit the skids. You knew they were having problems. I mean, you have that filing, by the way, that we looked at yesterday, that motion to compel her. I think that, again, it has a lot to do with it. I think that's the secret sauce. That's real. Again, you've got to know this is, I would say actually that they've got to know that this is a loser, but at the same time, when does that stop them from going out? It's different than spinning it online, isn't it? When you get into the courtroom and you actually have to deal with this in the really real world, that's when it gets more interesting. So remember, we read yesterday, like I said, you had that 319 was supposed to be a depot from LMNOP. She was supposed to pop up 15 minutes beforehand. According to Jeremy's post, there was a call saying they wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be there and she wouldn't be there. So right after that, you have this filing. And this filing got, when we read over this, like I said, I was like, this is starting to get really interesting, because you had Randy note, he called 2 cell phones and an office line. And the office line has a screening announcement. Okay, on one cell phone, you receive an answer. But the person that answers that, they refuse to respond and they eventually hang up. Then a voicemail, it was left, it's not responded to. And in an email on the same date where there's a no-show, you have Randy describe the relief requested in the motion that you're looking at right here. And there's no response to the email either. Now, all of this happens, like he says, even though the same phone number that is being utilized has been answered before. We saw that with the thumbnail case, you know? So you feel like something big, something weird is coming up in all of this. Yeah, there's something majorly off. You have this hit, like I said, and right after it, when they start asking for the production of elemental pay, bam, they dismiss the case. What do you think about that? Huh. Like I said, I need to hit up, excuse me, I have to clear my throat first. Madam Mayor, see if she'd like to come on. Again, I enjoyed talking to Madam Mayor. I thought that she was a very good guest. Like, she's interesting. She has some interesting insights into Levy County, period. And a lot of the players and the nonsense that go on. I think she understood a lot of that. But what was really telling to me, and I hope everybody captures this. You know, there's a lot of people out there that they don't like Jeremy because, oh my God, the way he responds to stuff. Well, what about Madam Mayor? Like, what about her? I mean, she just tried to help out this place that obviously, let me put this back on the screen while we're talking. Again, the dismissal, that way everybody can see it. She just tried to help out, first of all, Otter Creek. She tried to do something decent. Am I going to cover Snowy Hurricane, the filing? Did you read the judge's order, actually, Snowy Hurricane? Did you read the filing itself? It just said that the filing had two things that were filed together. I did talk about this at the beginning, but you had the answers to the counterclaim, and you had a move, which is essentially a, well, we'll look at it, but it's a slap motion. Yeah, it's going to be refiled. I will bet you money, because all it said, the judge, it's so funny though, Snowy, that you see another case fall and you're not like, wow, that's crazy. Two cases fall. Thumbnail litigation. You know what I love about this stuff too? If they ever bring the big, I'm going to sue everyone out there. What I love about that is sooner or later, they're going to, they're going to have to face off against this. So if they decide to sue, oh, we're going to sue Megan Box, Shizzy. They keep talking about that, by the way. We're going to open up this. Well, they've already had to remove 2 frivolous lawsuits. It shows that this person, they just sue people, and then they end up dropping it. They bring on nuisance lawsuits, and not only that, but the person that we're talking about, there is a protective order that was violated and then violated again. So there have been multiple violations of a protective order on that too. So good luck with that. And again, yes, they could bring this lawsuit back, but oh man, they are giving ammunition for just to make it look like a joke. You don't drop something and then say, oh yeah, I'm going to pick that up later. And remember the filing. The filing was such garbage. So just giving us a flashback. I don't want to read this whole filing or anything. I want you to remember this filing. Again, it's one of the worst filings I've ever seen in my life. And I've read a lot of filings. You know, give me 1 minute here. Let me roll it forward. I mean, it's pretty good. So I'm pulling everything up here. All right, I'm going to pull up page 2, because page 1 just tells you all the players. Actually, I guess maybe we should note the players too. that doesn't hurt anything either, because you can remember who all they tried to go after with the trespass 5. So let's pull that up here too. Oh, it's it's like, well, maybe not. Yeah, actually, I think that would be a good one though. Man, this thing doesn't want to lock on. There it goes. It didn't want to lock for a minute. Remember, they decided that they would go after all of these players here. They decided they would go after Granger and Granger, Deanna West, Rex Wood, Travis. Travis. It's interesting. Like when you hear him talk on his channel about like anything related to it, he seems as confused as everyone else. I kept thinking, what the hell is going on with this case? Like for the longest time. And who knew? Who knew? It was an absolute disaster, everyone. So in it though, you had, I mean, just look at how dumb this filing is. This thing would have never stood. Beginning in or around the summer. Now remember, Jeremy Hales and George are not parties in this lawsuit, but they spend a lot of time talking about them. Beginning in around summer 2023, non-parties. Hales, George, fabricated a reality drama for content on YouTube channel, What the Hales, centering on LMNOP and JC. You know, they didn't even use his name because they didn't want to bring him in there. Well, John Cook. They don't actually want to bring him in. They didn't establish him with the lawsuit. It's because they tried to say, oh, this invasion that happened. They tried to play up indigent, elderly, and child. They were trying to weaponize that. They were like, this lady and this little kid were there, and there was an invasion. But they prefaced it with all this insane shit. The theme was what, bad neighbors. You've heard it a million times. Based on the false premise, stalked us to Otter Creek, purchasing property. Hales and George have used Preston, Cook, and HG is fodder. They go through all of the harassment, bullying. It just, Lord, it says it takes forever to say all of that stuff. All of the allegations that go with that. Again, notice we're still moving. Never before or currently has there been another major YouTube content creator devoting their YouTube content almost exclusively to targeting They try to play off the private person. This is interesting too. So yesterday, there was actually something that came up, and I didn't add something to this, and I really think I should have. Okay, so remember that post that LMNOP put up talking about, let me pull this up actually. I'll pull it up real fast. So you remember the post where she talks about all this money that have been raised, how they've had all of this support and more. In order to do that, wouldn't you need to be at least a limited purpose public figure? Like, isn't this an admission that you are indeed? Because to end up getting, again, somewhere in the range of $100,000, more, who knows? Wouldn't that be the case? Remember, we already had BBB saying that she was a celebrity behind the scenes. They just didn't want to embrace it. But isn't this the embracement of it? And talking about how they were able to fund this, they were able to fund that, more. Isn't that the accidental admission of being not the thing? They need, again, if you don't understand this, they need them to be private individuals. They cannot be public figures for a lot of the claims that they make to work in any way. Because if you're a public figure, you have to have actual malice. You have to prove that. That's why they lean into that so much. That would be somebody doing this, knowing things are wrong, or just with reckless disregard. So anyway, they go through, here's our second page. Never before. They used elderly, poor, disabled. Well, they go through yet another page here. This is all about Hales. This is about Hale's storyline. This is about Veteran Nation. Again, another non-party, just to make that clear too. Veteran Nation in no way, shape, or form was sued in this either. I mean, just making that 100% clear. Veteran Nation also was not sued, but they spend time in the lawsuit talking about Veteran Nation too. They bring up Lloyd, which you have to bring up Lloyd. It is a fascinating little issue here too. They bring up Lloyd, but Lloyd is not a party in the litigation, which is, again, kind of an odd way of playing this, to say, you know, yes, somebody allowed this to happen, and yet they weren't a party. Like, isn't that bizarre? And then finally, they get into a narrative around part 19, where they talked about some quid pro quo with Hales and Lloyd, saying that in order, if Lloyd would claim that he was in fear for his life and would file an elder abuse claim, that Jeremy would send, quote unquote, his people out. So you finally get to something in the lawsuit. Remember, all of that has been dismissed here. All right. So then they finally get into it, and they say that even though you have a Levy County sheriff there the entire time, that somehow in some way, all these folks, they've done wrong, and on top of them doing wrong, they decided to go after the deputy sheriff here too, which fascinates me. It really fascinates me when I see Levy County talking about anything having to do with Jeremy Hales and some of these Levy County sheriffs. Like, they're really butthurt about being called out, and yet one of their own got sued by these other people that they seem to be okay throwing in with. I feel like they have. Again, you make up your own minds about that, but they definitely seem like they have protected them. The Ohio courts have found violations, multiple ones, when Levy County wasn't willing to do anything with it. I mean, that alone should say something. When you look at protective orders are pretty much cut and dry. You have a distance thing. Don't be within that. If somebody comes near you, get out of it. It's pretty much cut and dry. And you've had all these violated, which again, they will play in court very well too. So yeah, I mean, when you looked at this lawsuit, again, my point in all of that was it was a bad one, a very, very bad one. And it has fallen today. Now, on top of that, you have two filings that we are going to look over, and you have an order. Now, I'm going to read the order first, because the order is essentially telling you that you can't file answers and this motion together. You have to break them apart. Okay? So they're going to be refiled. They'll be refiled separately. You know they will be. The order, I know, like I said, we'll see these documents again. So let's look at the documents here. Plaintiffs filed documents purporting to be an answer and a motion to dismiss. That's improper. An answer and a motion to dismiss are two separate things. An answer is a pleading under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 7A, motion to dismiss under 7B. They serve two distinct functions, have distinct requirements, governed by distinct rules. The court will not allow them to be combined. It says, you can't combine the two. So with that, accordingly, they strike them as procedurally improper. Now, that doesn't mean that it's like 106 and 107 don't exist. They've been stricken. So all you got to do is refile. You just break the filing up. Now, that's not a ruling on the filing itself. It's not talking about the merit of it. The court is just saying, hey, I'm not going to accept both of these things together. You're going to have to separate them. So instead of two filings, we'll end up with four filings, because each one of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover one of the filings. These, let me show you these. You'll understand why. These are the identical type filings. You've seen this happen before. With the counterclaims, for example, you had one that was pointed with Preston and one that was pointed with Cook. So you're going to have answers on each one, or rather filings that point toward each one. Now, you're going to have the document again. You're going to have Mr. Cook's counterclaim, and it talk about that. And then it was his, wait, let me check something here. 1 second. Yeah, so I'm going to cover 70 and 107 because that is the filing that deals with LMNOP. But like I said, they're the same thing. They're answering everything that's alleged. There's a lot of that. Denied. They're denying pretty much everything. And on top of that, we're going to get a motion too. So let's check this out here. And like I said, this will get filed again. So what this is this is answering document 70. If you are wondering what document 70 was, because that was way back in the old days, by the way, this is actually 69 and 70 that are being answered with 106 and 107. That's this document. This document, which summarizes the case. You had answers that were given by BBB. And then on top of it, as you move forward after the answers, you have counterclaims. And that's what you have: your affirmative defense, and then you have your counterclaims. So each one of these gets a denial, by the way. I'm going to read you what they're denying. I mean, they're denying everything. And then 2 of them are denied as to images or public record. But they're denying. Count 1, intentional infliction of emotional distress. The plaintiff and his counsel conspired to form a contrived basis for filing litigation against the defendants, not to pursue meritorious legal claims, but to generate ongoing litigation-related YouTube content via polyflop. Black, right in the polyflop bucket. Polyflop, baby. I swear. The purposeful protraction of litigation and multiplication of proceedings. They answer number 1, again, answer each one, denied. Number 2, the plaintiff would benefit financially from ongoing litigation, generating fresh, compelling YouTube content, with the aim being to create as many issues and proceedings along the way as possible. That one is denied too. And you have to think about this. I mean, again, can you imagine if this were your life? What would you rather have? Would you rather have some easy filings? I mean, honestly, would you rather have some easy video? I said easy filing. Easy videos, like going out and picking out a shed. I'm not saying it's easy work, but it's an easy A, B, C, D, E. You go through a formula to it. You pick out a storage unit, you go through it, you see what's there, you record it, then you sell it. Profit. Or would your plan rather be, according to them, this is the way that they go, you're going to decide to focus on your neighbors. You're going to say your neighbors are so terrible that you're going to spend $300,000 in lawsuits, where, again, it not only costs you an insane amount of money, but it also hits you right in the mental health and more. Which one would you rather go with? I'm curious, Yeah, that's true too. Janice also brings up a very good point as well. When they bring up polyflop, I think this is actually a very good point. Give me this here. Said she's voluntarily dismissed 3 cases. For me, I for some reason, the protective order, I keep forgetting to include it into the voluntary dismissals. But you're right. I mean, you have you have the thumbnail litigation into trespass 5. Remember, they went after Silverman too. They went after him like he had betrayed them. What about Scott Stark then? What about all this? Is Scott Stark a betrayer too? Are they going to decide to turn on him? They're going to decide to ruin his life as well because he actually decided to dismiss that? I'm sure, though, I would bet you money he didn't make that determination. I would bet money that somebody else was like, hey, we need to do this. Because, again, they seem afraid of LMNOP actually being deposed. They seem very afraid of it. They have it's a loser case. They spend a lot of money for nothing. They get hit with a lot of, when sanctions come rolling in too. Like I said, I wonder what, Michelle Preston, John Cook, you do realize that you're on the hook for these lawsuits that are being dismissed. You realize that, right? You realize that you can and will be sanctioned. If you don't understand sanctions, you have it described in the ecosystem as a punishment because of wrongdoing. And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, the sanctions can be you having to pay for the time that you wasted and the money you wasted as far as lawyers and other expenses. I mean, if you look, you had 21 days. See, if BBB, if he would have done this correctly and he planned to drop this, he would have dropped it within 21 days. Then it wouldn't have cost you a dime. But unfortunately remember their defense was, well, we're going to add in this charge here. We're going to try to go after Jeremy for thumbnail. And that's how we're not going to be sanctioned. Never mind the fact that, you wasted the money of DUI guy and other folks too. But okay. How are you going to play that off with the trespass 5 case? I mean, essentially what you're having is this, it looks like they're kicking the can down the road. The bill it's starting to pile up. And I don't know who you think is going to be on the hook for it. Maybe Scott Stark might be hit with some liability. Possibly Bruce, depending on what you say. If you came clean right now and you talked about, oh my God, they told me to put it up. Oh, and he gave me advice before I signed any papers. Oh yeah, you could probably do something there. But when you get sanctioned, we're not talking about a couple of bucks either. We're talking about a lot of money, a lot of time there. And I mean, you are on the hook for it. And it will look bad. Because like Eunice said, it's not one case. It's not 2. That's 3 now. You've gone out, you filed 3 different things, and you've dropped them all. It looks very bad for you. What it looks like is that you practice vexatious litigation. It looks like you have decided not only to try to harass your neighbor, because again, you have been found guilty in Ohio, whether you agree with that or not. I hope, like I said, they hear this, because whether you agree with it or not, you've been found guilty, and you've been found guilty of violations on multiple accounts. Then it looks like you retaliated with a protective order that ends up getting dropped. You end up dropping it because again, if I were a lawyer in that, I would say you went after me because of retaliation, but you knew you couldn't win. You had no merit to your case whatsoever, and you dropped it. And then you decided that you were going to retaliate with the thumbnail litigation, which you dropped, and then you tried to pick back up, throwing it into counterclaims with a federal case. But on top of that, you targeted everybody around Jeremy Hales, and you spent pages talking about Jeremy Hales. So any lawyer worth their salt will definitely come after you with that. And you will lose, and you will be on the hook for quite a bit of money. So, and it will be you and John Cook. You all are going to get hit with that. So, I mean, if you think you're going to walk on that, it's so bizarre, because I think that's what, looking at the posts from Bruce, I think that's what he's been promising. That's how it again, either he is woefully misled on how litigation works, which is crazy. I mean, he's like, we can't face sanctions. There's no way. And well, you dropped the case. I mean, again, they paid a lot of money to get to that point for you to just drop it out of the blue. You also, Stark refused to produce Michelle Preston, who is the party bringing this litigation. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a real problem there. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. But anyway, number 2, he would benefit from that. Like we just answered all of that. That was denied. 3, the plaintiff's counsel would benefit financially from a regular stream of legal funds, funded in part into large part by donations from viewers of the plaintiff's YouTube content, focusing on his litigation, with donations coming in the form of cash mailed to the plaintiff, donations directly to his counsel via link under the YouTube videos, and other methods of donating. Yeah. You think he's made $300K to find that? It's funny too. All of these freaking things. If we were to take that, what she said, I would fight that the same way. I'd say, hey, she opened up these lawsuits that she had so she could have her lawyer and a person, or a team rather, that admit to being PR go and talk about how they needed money for things to the tune of close to $100,000, if not more. Two can play that way. I mean, if you want to talk about donations, isn't it interesting? You have Bruce asking for money to fund this litigation. He's doing that right now. He has a PayPal link up right now, asking people out there while he's complaining about, saying, oh, no. This is something that, again, has to be a conspiracy. So, especially considering everything is an opposite world with them, you know? You have to think, is this an admission? Because to have polyflop, you have to have, they say, you have to have not only a counsel, rather a person that's willing, but also counsel that's willing. Is that a description of self, I wonder? So strange. Got a raider coming. I can hear her. What's up, kiddo?
What's up?
What's up? What you do?
I was calling upstairs until I got mad because there was a double second. I don't know my fives. I only know my fours.
Oh, you know fives. You know how to tell fives. I've seen you write. You know how to make a 5. I've seen you do it many times.
Sometimes
you know?
I get it wrong.
Well, sometimes we do get it wrong. I mean, I get it wrong sometimes. It's okay. You want me to show you real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, look. I'll show you on my phone. Okay.
You have a little pencil phone?
Yeah, it's got a pencil in the bottom. Yep. It's where I write down notes, like for my YouTube and stuff. So this, wait, what is that?
That's a 4.
That's a 4. And this, what is that?
A 5.
That's a 5. Okay. So
you have a cool phone.
Here, you make a, yeah, I know. When you get older, if you're a really good girl, we'll get you a phone too. Right? You have to be older though. Because last time,
try to make a 4.
Last time you called somebody and got a hold of Sissy's phone, who did you call?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it? Why not?
I like to dot. I got like my 4.
You don't want to talk about it? Why? Because you called the police.
Hey,
yeah.
why did you say that?
Why did I say it? People already know that. I laughed about it, but that's not good, by the way. But it's already happened. So we learned from you. Never did it again, right? So it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard to do it.
You called them. You just wanted to talk to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know who was calling because
you didn't know who was. You didn't know you were calling because you were 5. You just hit the button and they answered, and you just
I did put the 1s in the 4. I meant the 6 or something.
Yeah, you hit the emergency and it just dialed them.
No, I did put the emergency again.
Yeah, no, you hit at the front of the phone though. See if it's locked. See, this is what you did when you went to unlock it. It says emergency call, and you hit that, and it makes it call emergency right away. So it dialed it for you. That's probably why you didn't know it was emergency. So when you called them, did you just talk? You were like, "Hey, what's up?" Is that what you did?
I'm gonna make a 5.
They said you
I
called.
bet.
They said you called back a few times. Did you call them back? You don't want to talk about it?
Yeah. It's just a little cricket boy.
I see that. Okay, well, all right. That's good, though. You did it really well. Now, why don't you go upstairs and do your thing? I got to go over this stuff. We'll work on it more. We've been working on our numbers, and you've been doing really good. Maybe if you're good tonight and you do your thing, maybe we'll play the egg game later, too. Okay?
Oh, I love that game.
I know you love the egg game, so maybe we'll play the egg game later, too.
Hey, look
Yeah.
at my finger.
Oh, man, look at that. Somebody, Dwayne, there's some $50.
For me?
It's in my favorite part is you and your sister. Man, isn't that something?
Yeah, I got some money.
And here, wait. Teddy sent $10. Can you say thank you to both of them, by the way?
Thank you.
It said for writing 5s. Yep, she's over here like showing me how to write those. You got to take a minute to do that too. Don't we?
That's a lot of money for you. And I got 2 ways to say
All right.
1.
Well, all right, we'll go upstairs.
That's my point 2.
Oh yeah. Let's see, you can count well. You know 2, you know 5.
3,
And you see,
4,
look.
5.
Actually, see, look. The Dwayne, see the 5 at the beginning? It's 5, 0, 50. Yeah. See, you knew how to write 5. You learned it there. That's awesome, isn't it? All right, go upstairs though, and we'll play the egg game later if you're good. Okay.
Okay.
All right, shut my door though. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, close it. Love you.
Love you too.
She there's an app on my phone. I'm sure you've seen it before, where you have these little eggs and you can draw something and try to crush the eggs. I don't know. It's just they're little bad eggs, and you like draw something above them, and they're little challenging things. And she likes to play that, so I'll let her play with my phone, like with that. Yeah, one day though, if you didn't know that, one day she got her sister's phone. She snuck in her room, and she, exactly, Bronson. I don't want to talk about it. That's exactly what it ran into. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. If she does something, if she knows what it's supposed to, she goes, I don't want to talk about it. It's so funny. It's her tail as well. She's done something that she's not supposed to. If I'm like, where'd that come from? And if she doesn't know, she'll be like, I don't know. But if she did it, she'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. It's so funny. All right, so number 4 here, though. And again, we are discussing the counterclaims because these have all been answered. These are being denied. All right, that was the first thing. With the legal fees being paid by donors, there would be no limit to counsel's expenditure billable time, huh? So is that your plan, BBB? I see, again, you're fundraising for that. And Marla actually said that you all were planning on trying to bring in additional lawyers for litigation. So, I mean, do you... That's funny, Mom. Yeah. You said your kids are cuter than mine. So they get your money instead. That's funny. 5 for writing 5s. Thank you. Oh, that's funny. She puts me in a better mood when we cover crazy stuff. It does. Because a lot of this stuff is so awful sometimes. And the interruptions are good. And I mean, again, look at this insanity there. So that he had financial incentive to protract to polyflop. My God, man, every freaking time. You know what I mean? Like, we can't even get through, like, it's to the crab bucket again. Right in the crab bucket to polyflop, thereby fulfilling the purpose of the plaintiffs in bringing lawsuit, generating ongoing fresh litigation related YouTube content for the plaintiff's storylines. By the way, speaking of new lawsuits and more, Mr. Hale has made a couple of videos talking about the ongoing property mess. And remember, it's not just that. If it were just that, I wouldn't, even with this being connected to all this other stuff, I wouldn't care to the point I'd be like, yeah, I would talk about it. But you have that turned into a PR story where you have people trying to bludgeon Jeremy Hales and talk about him somehow dissing the memory of someone that has passed. So he's made a couple of videos talking about that stuff. And I think I will cover those just because I think that's important. But the plaintiff's interest in contrived storyline is for content is symbiotic with his lawyer's interest in maximizing billable time without regard for the consumption of court time and resources. Again, sounds a lot like BBB. Get Joe, except his symbiotic relationship has to do a lot with fame. He talked about wanting to be, he actually did an interview saying that he wanted to get the word out on his case. So, I mean, there's admissions in that could be talked about. Polyflop, again, that was denied. The device the plaintiff contrived for the basis of a federal lawsuit accompanying YouTube storylines were the defamatory road signs falsely alleged by him. 28 complaint is having been created by defendants. Again, denied. Let's see, when did we don't get into until 16. The plaintiff's accusations, the defendants planted the signs were false and known to be false by plaintiff, denied. The plaintiff's statement accusing the defendants of creating and planting the signs were made and continue to be made with malicious intent to injure the defendants, denied. The plaintiff also falsely accuses the defendants of extortion and tortious interference as additional contrived claims to generate litigation content, denied. This, by the way, it fascinates me considering how many things we have 3 dropped lawsuits already. But on top of that, how many things have been claimed? How many daily things do you see claimed about Jeremy Hales? I mean, if I were to, if I were to be blamed for some kind of conspiracy where I'm trying to destroy somebody, I probably wouldn't just make up random shit. Never show proof, by the way. That's one of the kickers. Never showing proof. Remember how many things? Remember when they went to Otter Creek? They said they were going to show all this proof, and where did it happen? Where did it go? Weird, wasn't that? Weird. Plaintiff's false accusations caused the defendants to be, again, we've seen all of that. Denied. His actions are extreme and outrageous. Denied. Plaintiff knew and intended his false accusations because the defendants suffer severe emotional distress. Denied. Plaintiff's false accusations cause defendants suffer severe emotional stress. Denied. Then we get to 540-08. This was the thumbnail lawsuit that has been slapped in here. And you've seen this before. I'm just flying through these. The plaintiff misappropriated the defendant's image and likeness by placing them on video thumbnails in order to advertise videos. Bad number of videos in which the defendant appear involuntarily as villains in plaintiff's contrived YouTube storylines. Denied. This one, the plaintiff's use of the defendant's image and likeness has been without their consent. As he notes here, these are, he has 2 places actually where he notes. Here, I'll show you. This is really the only deviation in the denials. Some of these, I mean, again, these accusations are stupid is what they are. But denied as to images, which are public record. So the images there, they're public record. So you don't have to have consent to utilize them. That's the thing. They're not, what do they think they are? The defendant's use of defendant's image likeness, or plaintiff's use of defendant's image and likeness has been for commercial and or advertising purposes in order to increase views of videos and revenue to the plaintiff for the videos as a result of using the image of the defendants. Denied. Because of the plaintiff's unauthorized use of defendant's image and likeness for commercial and or advertising purposes, the defendants have suffered loss and injury and are entitled to recover reasonable damages, including royalty. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at that money grab. Give me that money, baby. Give me your money, Jeremy. That's what it is. It is. We want royalties. Are you fucking kidding? You aren't the fucking Beatles, man. Make something. Create something. Be entertaining. Again, instead of committing the polyflop, they could have been, it's fascinating. I hope LMNOP understands this too. This whole time, you could have, instead of giving away all those wondrous super chats to all these random channels, she could have been out there with her own channel. She could have monetized already, and all that money could be hers. She wouldn't have to share it with any of those fucking grifters. She could have been the prime grifter, the apex grifter. You know, she could have ridden around on a gold-plated tortoise. I mean, come on there. But no, didn't do it. Count 3. The plaintiff has published defendant's photo, image, or likeness, YouTube page, and video thumbnails on many occasions. Denied. Wait. Yeah, denied. Okay. I couldn't remember this one. Every publication of defendant's photo, image, or likeness by the plaintiff has been unauthorized. Again, denied because they're publicly available. So they're public record. The plaintiff's publication of the defendant's photo, image, and or likeness has been intended to humiliate or mock the defendants. Denied. Plaintiff's publication of the defendant's photo, image, or likeness has invaded the defendant's privacy. Denied. And the invasion of the defendant's privacy by the plaintiff by unauthorized publication of the photo, image, and or likeness has caused the defendant to suffer damages, including but not limited to severe emotional distress. Denied. Now then, we get to the next part of this. Let me switch back over to the document from today. Like I said, these things will be broken into 2 pieces. You know. So we get to the affirmative defense. Counter defendant fails to state a cause of action for any of the 3 counts for all the reasons stated in the attached and the included motion to dismiss. Mr. Hales has done nothing but exercise his right under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Then they talk about anti-SLAPP. Now, we've had discussions about anti-SLAPP before. And this is, if you don't understand anti-SLAPP statutes or what SLAPP laws are about. Give me a second. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull this up so you can understand this. I mean, essentially, we're talking about free speech. That's where we get into that argument. And a lot of lawsuits, they eat dirt because of SLAPP. Now, we'll see. But anti-SLAPP, that will be anti-strategic lawsuits against public participation. They are designed to protect individuals from lawsuits filed to silence or intimidate them from exercising their First Amendment rights, particularly free speech, their freedom of speech, and petition. So what are they? Again, they're supposed to, what this does is it strikes down lawsuits before they get to a certain point. I'm actually surprised, to be honest, I'm surprised we didn't see SLAPP utilized early on in the federal case. You know, I'm surprised they didn't go with a SLAPP argument. It did. It very much surprised me. I thought we would see that right from go. But it didn't happen. You know, but I thought that's what they would try to go with. Oh, just exercising freedom of speech, you know, with certain arguments and deny other things. Now, unfortunately, some of those statements that were made, they don't look very good. You know, I'm talking about like convict buddies and, you know, all this other garbage. So it doesn't really go well for you. But again, it tells you, you know, SLAPP, strategic lawsuits designed to harass, intimidate, silence critics by forcing them to defend expensive, often baseless legal actions. The primary goal of SLAPP is not to win the lawsuit, but to exhaust the defendants financially and emotionally, forcing them to drop their criticism or advocacy. So he's saying, hey, you know, I'm protected under free speech. This is a baseless lawsuit. This is garbage. And that's what you have to treat it like. You know, I have the right to talk about certain things. So Mr. Hales, pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12b-6, hereby moves to dismiss the counterclaims filed by Ms. Preston. That would be Doc 70. And remember, there's one aimed at Doc 69 as well, for failure to state a claim pursuant to Florida statutes 768.295. In support of this, Mr. Hale states, quote, defendant's counterclaim asserts 3 counts against Mr. Hales. Count 1 for intentional infliction of emotional stress. Count 2 for violation of Florida statute 540.08, unauthorized publication of name or likeness. Count 3 for common law invasion of privacy. None of these counts state a claim. This means that the counterclaim should be dismissed with prejudice. This is because none of the 3 counts can survive the single action rule, and none of the 3 counts set forth the necessary elements. So it's going to talk about all of that. So background. Defendant's counterclaim was filed February the 8th. Feels like it's been a million years, doesn't it? We're only a month and change away from the counterclaim. Does it not? With everything that happened, you can tell that a case has a lot going on when you have a month that goes by and it feels like it's a million years looking back. Normally in lawsuits, I might have to refresh you because time has passed and other things have gone on. But in these specific cases, I mean, today alone, look at everything that happened. And you just have that all the time. And again, that's one thing I hate with Jeremy Hales. I hope that anytime you see his videos come up, drop in, play them, give the man some love, because I'm sure, this stuff, it comes with a high toll. All of it does. It comes with a very high toll. He keeps a good mask on. You can see it sometimes. You can see it come through. He keeps the mask up very well. He's that kind of person. As a man, I understand that. Anyway. You don't want to. YouTube isn't therapy anyway. It can be. It can be a good therapeutic tool, but you know what I mean. Like going out and telling people how something's bothering you. It ends up getting used against you. The ecosystem, if they knew that if he admitted that he was vulnerable, they would try to harm him even more. They would. They've done everything they can to. So, yeah. Anyway, filed it February 8th. Counterclaim, all 3 counts based on social media videos made on YouTube by Mr. Hales. Nowhere in the counterclaim does the defendant provide any specific YouTube video by Mr. Hales. In fact, it says, number 1 here, footnote, the anti-SLAPP statute places the burden on the defendant to provide and allege specific social media precisely. So it has to be specific to ensure that such intentionally vague claims do not escape dismissal. So that's exactly what's noted in case law. You have to have, they have to be specific allegations. You can't have just vague claims. Oh, there's this weird conspiracy out there. Again, it's an insane, preposterous notion. Defendant's counterclaim, count 1, alleges defamatory road signs were falsely alleged by Mr. Hales as having been created by the defendant. However, there's no count for defamation anywhere in defendant's counterclaim, especially not in counter 1. Rather, defendant attempts to cast count 1 as intentional infliction of emotional distress. Defendant's counterclaim adds 2 additional counts based on Florida statute 540.08 and invasion of privacy by unauthorized publication. Both of these remaining counts are also based on Mr. Hale's YouTube channel and videos, which are a quote-unquote play, movie, television product, radio broadcast, audio-visual work, book, magazine article, musical work, news report, or other similar work. Now that's talking about, again, you have it covered. If we look at exemptions, he has the ability. Again, exemption because of. So it'll be interesting argument with all that. Argument memorandum. Defendant's counterclaim is the quintessential, I'm going to call it SLAPP instead of reading that anytime it comes up, which seeks to hold Mr. Hales liable for exercising his constitutional right to free speech in connection with public issues, namely written and or oral statements made in or in connection with his YouTube channel, which again is play, movie, television, In that regard, Defendant's counterclaim is designed to chill speech on a public issue, and it falls squarely within Florida's anti-SLAPP statute. It says, see the statute there? So Florida's courts have long favored pretrial disposition in these cases because of the chilling effect they have on the First Amendment. And it gives, again, it talks about different cases with that. The Florida legislature recognizes the prominent and early functions court play in such cases when it enacted against SLAPP. The statute was designed to deter plaintiff from filing meritless complaints that target free speech rights. The expressed public policy is that people and government entities not engage in SLAPP suits because such actions are inconsistent with the right of people to exercise constitutional rights of free speech in connection with public issues. That's the kicker there. You have the right to talk about public issues. To facilitate the expeditious resolution of such lawsuits, the anti-SLAPP laws shift the party burdens at the outset and require a much more stringent analysis than the typical motion to dismiss. Again, it goes through talking about case here, noting courts, when faced with a motion to dismiss based on Florida's anti-SLAPP law, must, quote, do more than accept as true the factual allegations in the four corners of the complaint and draw all inferences therefrom in favor of the complainant. Specifically, once the defendant, here, counter-defendant, establishes the statute applies, the burden shifts to the plaintiff, here the counter-plaintiff, to demonstrate that the claims are not primarily based on First Amendment rights in connection with public issue and are not without merit. There is no doubt that Florida statute, again, 768.295 applies. Defendant's counterclaim indisputably involves statements made in connection with, again, it goes through. By definition, this constitutes free speech in connection with public issues. Defendant claims that Mr. Hale's audiovisual work on YouTube broadcasts, one, was designed to promote Mr. Hale's YouTube broadcast in order to advertise the videos as bad neighbor videos in which defendants appear involuntarily as villains in Mr. Hale's contrived YouTube storylines. Two, was made to generate fresh, compelling YouTube content with the aim being to create as many issues and proceedings along the way as possible. And three, publish the defendant's photo, image, and or likeness on Mr. Hale's YouTube page and video thumbnails on many occasions without authorization. This means that Mr. Hale's has established a prima facie case that the statute applies and the burden shifts to the defendant to show the defendant's counterclaims have merit. Defendants cannot meet this burden. Accordingly, Mr. Hale is entitled to an award of attorney fees and costs in bringing this motion to dismiss pursuant to, again, they give the same Florida statute. Now, when they're talking about this as well, you have to remember what it's saying here is it shifts. Typically when you have a motion to dismiss, it is on the defendant to show X, Y, and Z. But when you have SLAPP statute, when that is brought up, this shifts. So it would be on LMNOP to say, hey, this is how it's not about free speech. And how is this not about shutting down free speech? So count one. The intentional infliction of emotional stress fails as a matter of law. This count complains of two actions by Mr. Hales that are entirely related to YouTube content and illicit litigation. Number one, generating, quote, ongoing litigation related to YouTube content, generating fresh, compelling YouTube content with the aim being to create as many issues and proceedings along the way as possible. Three, contrive storylines for content. Four, driving a device for the basis of federal lawsuit and accompanying YouTube storylines. Five, creating litigation to generate YouTube content. And six, falsely accusing the defendants of extortion and tortious interference as additional contrived claims to generate litigation content. Now in Florida, A party alleging intentional infliction of emotional distress must show that, number one, the plaintiff acted recklessly or intentionally, and two, the defendant's conduct was extreme and outrageous. 3, the defendant's conduct caused the plaintiff's emotional distress, and 4, plaintiff's emotional distress was severe. Plenty of case law on that. Defendants failed to allege these elements in any plausible manner. The issue of whether a party's actions are so extreme and outrageous as to permit a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress is a legal question for courts to decide as a matter of law. Again, they have discussion on that. Florida applies the definition of extreme and outrageous conduct set forth in Section 46. To be restatement second of torts. Quote, liability has been found only where the conduct has been so outrageous in character and so extreme in degree as to go beyond all possible bounds of decency and to be regarded as atrocious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. Generally, the case is one in which the recitation of facts to an average member of the community would arouse his resentment against the actor and lead him to exclaim, outrageous. So you think about that. When you look at what Jeremy Hales has been, would you look at that and say, this is the way that people would react to that? It's so extreme that an average person would be like, that's outrageous. Oh my God. Thus, intentional infliction of emotional distress requires a very high bar as a matter of law. A defendant merely recites the elements of outrageousness and conclusionary factor without even attaching any examples, YouTube thumbnails, audio-visual broadcasts, and only alleges in a conclusionary manner that Mr. Hale's YouTube audio-visual programming is going to contrived with this lawsuit generating fresh, compelling YouTube content, fresh litigation-related YouTube content. The defendant was framed by Mr. Hales by false allegations. The defendant planted defamatory road signs, extorted Mr. Hales, and tortiously interfered with business relationships. This is not alleged conduct that rises to the level required to state a cause of action for intentional infliction of emotional distress. In fact, defendants merely allege that it's a false allegation, not the thumbnails that allegedly caused the defendants to suffer emotional distress. Additionally, there's not even an allegation that the thumbnails are extreme or outrageous at all, let alone that the level of outrageousness required under Florida law. Moreover, quote, the law in Florida seems settled that where one becomes an actor in occurrence of public interest, it is not an invasion of the rights to privacy to publish photograph with an account of such occurrence. Just because the story in the photograph may be embarrassing, now listen to this, may be embarrassing or distressful to the plaintiff does not mean the newspaper cannot publish what is otherwise newsworthy. Likewise, the publication of the story or photo does not meet the test of outrageousness as required for the independent tort of intentional infliction of emotional distress. So if it is newsworthy, then it doesn't matter if it's embarrassing. And you actually had LMNOP told that at the very beginning. She was told, if something is embarrassing, that does not mean that you get to shut it down. That's not how it works. So defendant's claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress is barred under the single action rule. Defendant's claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress does not state a cause of action and cannot be amended to do so. This is because, give me one second, I gotta get a drink. Many words. Give me a second here. This is because count one of the counterclaim is simply the recasting of a defamation claim as an additional distinct cause, action, and tort. This is not allowed in Florida in accordance with the single publication / single action rule. Quote, in Florida, single publication gives rise to a single cause of action. The single publication / single action rule, quote, does not permit multiple actions when they arise from the same publication upon which a failed defamation claim is based. Also, quoting another case, the rule is designed to permit plaintiffs from circumventing a valid defense to defamation by recasting essentially the same facts into several causes of actions, all meant to compensate for the same harm. Another case here, the rule precludes the recasting of defamation claims as additional distinct causes of action in a tort if all the claims arise from the same defamatory publication, insomuch as the defendant has produced no evidence at all, not even a single example within the entire counterclaim. There is no such publication that fits the elements of intentional infliction of emotional distress. Defendants cannot produce any evidence that YouTube videos were not protected speech, which Mr. Hales has under First Amendment rights. And that is 100%, by the way. You have fundamental rights here. You have freedom of speech rights. Quote, the freedom to speak one's mind is not only an aspect of individual liberty and thus a good unto itself, but also is essential to the common quest for truth and the vitality of society as a whole. It's not just an individual liberty. It's also essential for truth and vitality of society as a whole. Now, again, this was huge case law. Hustler Mag versus Farwell. If you've never gone over, I mean, a huge case law. The Supreme Court rejected the notion that the concept of outrageousness, which is an element of the tort of intentional infliction of emotional distress, would provide sufficient protection for First Amendment rights of a defendant. Outrageousness. This is what they had to say on it. Well, I've got a little one. I got a raider coming. Give me a second before we hit that. Hey, what's up, kiddo?
What?
What's up? What you got there?
My grandma.
Oh, you got your grabber.
Because they think that.
Is it working right? Let me see it.
Yeah, it is.
It is, huh? I'm surprised. It had a bunch of stuff sitting on it. I thought it would have been broken for a minute there. I put the string back on it. So you got one of those, those little grabbers like people use to get stuff, like especially like for a person that's handicapped or something, to reach things. But also, I mean, for anybody that needs it.
Yeah.
I got one as a sample a long time ago.
With my hamster.
She's playing with it.
My toy.
Yeah. Well, take it. Hey, take that upstairs though.
I want to see Pop.
Hey, take that upstairs. Well, okay, get one. Hey, be careful with that. Do not knock something over with it. Okay. You can get you one skinny popcorn. Take it upstairs though.
Take that out there. That's okay, Pop.
Take it upstairs for me.
I don't know how to open it.
Well, bring it to me. I'll open it for you real quick. I guess what she did too. She when it was St. Patrick's Day. Here, I'm gonna handle this as far away as I can because it's loud. Okay. Things are loud.
Yeah, come here.
When it was St. Patrick's Day, she brought me a button that was green, so nobody would pinch me. Right?
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Let's
flip. Hey, it's upside down. It's upside down.
Whoa. I didn't know it's upside down.
It's okay. I was just trying to catch it before it spilled everywhere. Got lucky. It stuck. All right.
It looks like Mom that eats off the floor too.
We'll take it upstairs. It's okay.
I see it off the floor.
Now, well, nothing really fell on the floor. There was just 3 pieces of popcorn, so you're okay.
Yeah, you know I'll get sick time.
Yeah.
Mom literally eats stuff off the floor.
It's okay. You got the 5-second rule, right?
Yeah, 5-second rule.
Yeah, unless it's something like,
like steak.
Yeah, like steak. I'm not going to eat steak off the floor. That's true. That'd be very gross.
We have popcorn off the floor.
Hey, don't swing that around. You're going to break something, baby.
Okay.
All right, just make sure. Be careful with it. All right. Love you.
I want to ask them what their favorite color is.
Do what?
I want to ask them.
All right, you ask them one thing.
What's their favorite color?
Yes, what's your favorite color? We'll have to see what people's favorite colors are. I don't know. I mean, I bet we'll get a lot of them. I bet we'll get a lot of different colors,
Can we have that entire rainbow?
Yeah, there's an entire rainbow of colors to pick from. Let's see what people say. Look, there's a bunch of colors there. Let's see. Blue, purple, hot pink, green, purple. Here, don't walk it up while you're sitting on the mic. Let's hold it still. In a minute. Blue, plaid, red, blue, purple, blue. There's a bunch of colors. Look at all that. Yellow. There's some yellows. That's you, right?
Yep. Purple.
You love that yellow.
I like you too.
Oh, whoever likes yellow, they're your favorites, huh? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here, take that over there. That's very loud. Here, take it upstairs, okay? It's very loud when near the mic. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Love you. Yep, got to take it away.
Love you too. Love you too.
All right, love you too. All right, let's get back to our. All right, give me a second. Fire that up there. 1 second there. So for outrageousness, they're defining it. Outrageousness in an area of political or subject or social discourse has an inherent subjectiveness. That's true, by the way. When you think about it, it's subjective. What is outrageous about it, which would allow a juror to impose liability on the basis of jurors' taste or views? You can't decide on which that is. So again, it's saying jurors, if they didn't like something, they'd get to say, yeah, that's outrageous. You can't have that. Or perhaps on the basis of dislike of a particular expression. That's true. Some people, they may not like with this, for example, when you had Hustler Mac versus Falwell, it was talking about, could you have societal backlash because of a number of things, including like religious expression and more. And you can't have that with outrage. And you can't have that reverse. Just remember that too. People cannot shut down your discourse because of religion or any other things, because they consider that outrageous. Oh, don't talk about that. They don't want it. No, you have the right to. So that's both ways there. So an outrageousness standard thus runs afoul of our long-standing refusal to allow damages to be awarded because the speech in question may have an adverse emotional impact on the audience. Yes, remember again, that goes with people, they get offended. And offense is not given. I cannot give you offense. You take offense to something. So speech does not lose its protected character simply because it may embarrass others or coerce them into action. That's true too. If I embarrass you when I'm talking about something, it doesn't matter. If it's true, it's true. The fact that society may find speech offensive is not a sufficient reason for suppressing it. That's true as well. Indeed, if it is a speaker's opinion that gives offense, that consequence is a reason for according it constitutional protection. Saying if something is offensive, that is really, and that's the true measure of something. When we talk about free speech that's simple, like right now when we're talking, it's easy to defend this. If I start saying something horribly outrageous, people, for example, that say terrible things like racist stuff, for example, you're like, oh, that's awful that they're saying that. Well, they are afforded speech. It's protected. There are certain places that you're not able to. There may be consequences of their actions later on, but they do have the ability, and they should have the ability. In fact, I rather like people to tell me who they are. If they're terrible human beings, I want to know. I want to stay away from them. So, but it's true. If it's offensive, if it's horrible, it's harder to defend. But that makes it something you'd want to defend there. You should. For it is a central tenet of the First Amendment that the government must remain neutral in the marketplace of ideals. Also, it's firmly settled that the public expression of ideals may not be prohibited merely because the ideals are themselves offensive to some of its hearers. Now, in Snyder versus Phelps, the United States Supreme Court extended the First Amendment protections even beyond actions for intentional infliction of emotional stress to include claims for the violation of plaintiffs' privacy rights and for civil conspiracy. Moreover, Snyder Court relied on Hustler Mag, Inc. versus Falwell, stating, quote, the free speech clause of the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedoms of speech can serve as a defense in state tort suits, including suits for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, defendants can produce no evidence and hasn't even included any such evidence in the counterclaim itself where the first speech does not defeat the claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress, nor the other two counts. This means that this claim and the other two claims fell in a matter of law. Accordingly, count one should be dismissed with prejudice. Now, count two, 540-08, and count 3, the invasion of privacy. They both fail as a matter of law. Defendant attaches no images or likenesses or thumbnails to the counterclaim, but merely alleges via 3 paragraphs containing nothing but conclusive allegations that Mr. Hales has misappropriated the defendant's image and likeness by placing them in video thumbnails in order to advertise them as bad neighbor videos in which defendants appear involuntarily as villains in Mr. Hale's contrived YouTube storylines. 2, the use of them without consent. And 3, the use of the thumbnails has been for commercial and or advertising purposes in order to increase video views, video and revenue for Mr. Hales for the video from videos as a result of the use of images of defendant. And 4, defendant suffers loss and injury as a result of unauthorized use of thumbnails. Now, count 2 of the Florida statute 54008, count 3. Invasion of privacy, blah, 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 blah. It's absent of evidence to support the defendant's case. And each count is based on purported violation of 540-OH, for which there is a complete lack of evidence. They can produce no evidence and hasn't even included such evidence, counterclaim itself, for which the First Amendment does not defeat count 2, 540-OA, or count 3. Under Florida law, elements of common law invasion of privacy, commercial misappropriation of likeness coincide with elements of unauthorized publication of name or likeness in violation with 540-08. Now, under Florida law, the elements of common law invasion of privacy, commercial misappropriation of likeness coincide with, again, just what it said up there. Florida statute 540-08 provides the pertinent parts. And talks, again, it notes unauthorized publication, name or likeness, no person shall publish, print, display, or otherwise publicly use for purposes of trade or for any commercial or advertising purposes, the name, So it points out this part right here, right? Now, defendant's counterclaim is so bereft of any attachment and merely alleges that each defendant, quote, published defendant's name and image without consent. For example, defendant's counterclaim wrongly states that each defendant, quote, has violated Florida statute 540-08, 1, by publishing defendant's picture, video thumbnails without consent, and by publishing and using defendant's name and image without defendant's consent. But, quote, the inclusion of one's name, likeness, portrait, photograph, that alone does not give a rise to a valid claim under 540-08. Now that has been that has definitely been tried. Mr. Hales has a YouTube channel consisting of free audio-visual broadcast intended to entertain and or inform the public. Defendant cannot show the defendant's name or likeness was used to promote some other product or service on the audio-visual broadcast separate and apart from Mr. Hale's YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is not, therefore, in and of itself a commercial purpose. That is true. The promotion and advertising of YouTube channel does not constitute a commercial purpose. Furthermore, the promotion and advertising of YouTube channels does not constitute a commercial purpose. Notice that. The promotion and advertising of YouTube channels does not constitute a commercial purpose. Oh, that's already been noted. Quote, plaintiff's complaint is centered around the defendant's purportedly wrongful use of plaintiff's copyrighted material. More specifically, plaintiff complains defendant infringed on plaintiff's copyright by using material in a broadcast of Maria Salazar's television program without plaintiff's consent. Defendant also allegedly uploaded the same copyrighted material to the internet by posting video clips of the show on the website and uploading the material to YouTube. Plaintiff claims he did not authorize such use of copyrighted material. In addition to the use of copyrighted material, plaintiff claims defendant illegally used his image and likeness during show and posted on YouTube. Now, moreover, there are a number of Florida cases that hold the use of one's name, likeness, portrait, and photo, whether in a news report, television show, play, novel, or the like, is not actionable unless the individual's name or likeness is used to directly promote a commercial product or service separate and apart from publication. So again, if I'm not out there marketing something on top of it, utilizing that, the show itself is not the product. We are not, if I make you a mug with somebody's likeness on it, yeah, it's a problem. But now defendant filed the counterclaim because Mr. Hale's engaged in protected expression under the anti-SLAPP statute. Furthermore, defendant's counterclaim fails because they consist of nothing, nothing. Ancillary, I'll get it right. Ancillary, there we go. Took me a minute. Claims which are barred by a single action rule. And because each claim independently fails on its own merit. For these reasons, Mr. Hales asks for the dismissal of the counterclaims without prejudice. Again, with the conclusion here in notes, Florida's anti-SLAPP statute protects precisely the speech challenged in this case. Statements made or in connection with, again, news, etc. In addition to being barred from single action rule, each of the defendant's additional counterclaims fails as a matter of law for the various reasons. The applicability of the anti-SLAPP law is clear from the face of the pleading. This means that the burden now shifts. Again, it is now the defendants that must show that defendant's claims are not without merit. Again, it's been shifted to BBB. He has to show it's not on them to prove that. It's on BBB, on LMNOP to do that. And they didn't. They didn't put anything in it. That's what it's stating. For that, well, none of it's meritorious. So for that reason, they should be dismissed. Now, again, there was an order, like I said, that was put on this, but the order is essentially saying, give me 1 second, let me pull this up again. The order is essentially saying these things should be filed separately. The answers and the motion to dismiss, they should have been filed separately. So the two filings, they were stricken. It's like they don't exist. That means you're going to refile them. They will come in. You'll probably have 4 filings that pop up instead of the 2. You'll have 4 that pop up in that. Second, I got older kid come out. Hey, kiddo.
Hey, shout out to the person who gave me all those beads because I used those beads to make a candy worm. His name is Wormbert. Say hi to Wormbert, everybody.
You made Wormbert. You want to talk for 1 second?
Oh yeah, of course I do.
All right. Well,
I'm going to keep them entertained.
Just tell them about your project there. Don't be crazy or anything. Okay? I will be right back.
Okay.
Go nuts. Go nuts.
Okay, this is my stream now. So, hi, I'm Lug, and I'm trying to be really good at making candy, which is basically Scene Kid bracelets. And I made a worm! I named him Wormbert. He's green. He's a caterpillar, because I like bugs. Also, I also want to talk about some stuff that I like. I like making bracelets with beads. And go away, Adia. But so Wormbert is a worm. Also, he is very bead.
All right, I'm back.
My dad is kicking me out.
Well, you gotta get on my seat.
Tell.
Yeah, you can say hi for a minute. No, don't sit in my chair. I had to go get my medicine.
I love taking over.
I know you do. We'll all have to have a.
I need to take over too.
We'll have to have a show. You need to take over too. Wait. Don't run off yet. Come here. I like it. Be able to talk about stuff.
Also, y'all, if you do not like Wormbert, you are no longer allowed.
I have my favorites as the one who gave you that. You want to tell them favorite? Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I have a favorite. You helped me make Wormbert, basically.
Rogue Mama said you're the bestest host too. You guys
are. I have to be a host. How will I host a Japanese game show if I'm not?
So you're gonna have a Japanese game show? Is it gonna be like Iron Chef or?
Basically death game.
Oh no! I hope we don't.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, look, you got a Wormbert fund.
Yeah,
No.
Wormbert fund. Wormbert.
I want to say thank you for that too.
Yeah, Wormbert needs 5 million other Wormberts.
5 million other Wormberts. All right. Well, are you making?
He is also one of my first candy things.
Yes.
I made a cuff and Wormbert.
I told them about your clay.
Yeah.
Stuff you made.
Yeah, my cuff didn't come out looking too good because I didn't have enough string to finish it. I cut off the wrong amount.
You did good though. Kiddo.
Yeah, so I had to wear it really weirdly.
It was your first try. Shield maiden.
Yeah. Yeah, the Shield maiden.
Yeah.
Boo!
Wormbert approves of everybody in this comment section. Also,
Boo,
Wormbert
boo.
will only appear in this
Booing
live
Wormbert?
stream.
Why are you booing Wormbert?
He will only appear in
What are
this
you gonna
live
make?
stream. This is your only chance to
I
say
like
hi.
fishes.
Hey, what would you make with beads then? If you
I'll
made
make fishes, giraffes, dinosaurs, a lot of stuff.
Oh
I said
man,
6 and
that would be cool
take
too.
in an unholy amount of beads.
Well, I'm my favorite said you are welcome, sweetheart. Make many.
Yeah, I need an
Right.
army of Wormberts.
All right,
The
well, why
Wormberts.
don't y'all go work on something? Go be sissy. Hey.
We are going to make a bead Wormbert army to take over the world.
All right, well,
me
hey,
too.
both of you go work
I'm
on
gonna
it.
make a fish armor to take over the world too.
Okay, well, it'll be the first time fish and worms work together. No one will expect that. She actually came down at a good time. I had to get up and find my medication. I left it over on the other side of the room. I was like, wait a minute, where'd I set that down? I needed it. So that was perfect timing. That's why I let her take over for a minute. She also, she really wants to run stuff there too. Hey, Rhea Rye, I'll tell her. She loves the airbrush. They love all anything that allows them to be creative. They love stuff. So again, the airbrush, dude, you and Mark, that was awesome of y'all. Very much so. They love that. They love beads. They like, again, anything that allows them to be creative. So people send all kinds of stuff like that. And like I said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all, you and Mark sent that. That was really cool. He got a lot of play. And again, the beads right this moment. But she just likes to make stuff. She's also been making things. I've been telling her, she talks about YouTube. They all do. But tell her, she'll make things like little animations and stuff. And I'll tell her, use that. Figure out how to edit, man. You figure out how to edit, you're good to go. You can make this stuff work. Hands down. I think they'll have a good time with it. Like a bug, it's spending money. Have fun making worms. They will. They very much will. Let me see. Give me a second here. I'm looking at something. Oh my Lord. Those idiots. So the idiots over 2Ls are trying to say that the dismissal of that lawsuit, that's strategic. Nobody's off the hook. They're going to bring some giant the only problem, like I said, you drop litigation, you refile and do this stuff. You don't reset everything from go. You don't get a redo on it. You've wasted time and money. And you've done this with multiple, again, 3 lawsuits there. These people are idiots. They are absolute idiots. And it amazes me. Somebody sent that over to me. I just saw it. I'm like, what in the world? Why would you think that would be some kind of a strategy? Oh, Lord, what a nut. Give me 1 second there. Again, they're just, BBB just wants to terrorize folks. He's wanted to terrorize everyone. Let's not forget Shara. Shara is another person they wanted to terrorize. They've been making promises lately, though. Megan, myself, Shara, Shizzy. So, I mean, well, think about that. They're going to have, they're telling you they're going to come after. Let's see, give me 1 second. They're telling you they're going to come after the Grangers again. They're going to come after Deanna West. They're going to come after Trav. I mean, think about this shit. Anybody that doesn't agree, they're going to come after. Bring it. Like I said, you throw me in litigation, and that is the worst call, because I will bring it up with everyone there. And the amount of eyes you get on it, yeah, I mean, it'll be fascinating. Because what will happen is you're trying to shut down people's ability to talk about a case, which you yourself have asked them to talk about. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. But yeah, you don't get to just drop things and bring them back up. 3 cases so far. What that is, it looks like they're just, it's the use of law there to terrorize folks, cause them problems. And I mean, they're promising to come after how many folks? How many dozens of folks now? I mean, they're going to come after Larry again. Let's not forget him. Are you kidding me? And if they don't, remember, everyone, like when they were talking about, they refiled the counterclaims saying, oh, thumbnail litigation, all of that's included. Yeah, the problem is that there were other people that you wasted time and money. Yep. Vexatious litigation. That's right, Jack's mom, you know. Vexatious litigation. It's been a mess. They're acting like a bunch of fools. But they've spent a lot of times really trying to terrorize. I mean, Shara is one that I do feel bad for and all of that. Like me, again, I feel for everybody that's been targeted in this. But like I don't care. Like for me, I mean, who gives a shit? They're not going to bother me. You know, pompous blowhards that they all are. You know, I thrive in this stuff. I don't care. Yeah, but I do feel for certain folks that worry about their safety. I know Shara does. I know that. She very much worries about the threats that are there. And I mean, of course, Jeremy, George, and Jeremy, I would imagine Jeremy worries more about people around him, like all of those other people, because he feels like it's his responsibility to look out for them. So it's nastiness. I mean, but they're dropping, you know, for strategy. The strategy, isn't it interesting? Again, you were supposed to have Lynette Preston come in. She was supposed to be deposed, and right then they had to drop it. You're gonna have problems with all of that. They face sanctions. Now let me start some super chats. Ruth, first of all, dropped a 10 there. She dropped that through PayPal. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that. There's nothing attached to that. It's a statement, but that is indeed a statement. It's one heck of a statement. So thank you. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Rebel Bird, thanks for the $5 super sticker. Rebel, what's up? Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Good to see you too. Appreciate you and all the mods. Thank you. Max Lab, thanks for the 2. Hey, Tug, crazy afternoon. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Max Lab, too. As always, my friend. It has been a wild one, too. What you doing? Hey, what? I thought you were going to work on some bracelets.
Sissy won't let me do beats with her.
Yeah, she will. Go tell her I said. Close the door. Tell her I said. Dad said she has to let you do beads with her, okay? She has to help, all right? Those aren't just her beads. Those are yours. And there are lots of beads. So she will too. Okay. All right, close the door. She probably didn't say anything about her not doing it either. She likes to back it up with what Dad said, you know, before she even says something. So it's always funny. But yeah, Max Lab, it has been a crazy one on the day. Like I say, I always appreciate you, buddy. Kathy, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to ThATuMBRELLAgUY. Thank you, Kathy. It's much appreciated. Spurgy, thanks for the 2 months. Glad to be here for this mess. I know it's crazy, isn't it? It's been a wild one. Becky, thanks for the 5. She was to be deposed this week in that case. And that was the one Stark said only 15 minutes prior to the depot that he had court. Indeed. Isn't that fascinating? She's a nut whiz, not that one. Thanks for the 2. 15 minutes of fame turns into a lifetime of shame. That is indeed true, too. That is indeed true. Isn't it funny how that works out? Linda, thanks for the 40 there. Fun employment, fun times. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Indeed. Very fun times indeed. This has been, it is insane. It's insane just trying to keep up with this case. I mean, honestly, sometimes I'm like, my God, how much of this thing is there? Came out Red Queen, thanks for the 5. Thank this dismissal. It's also to try and keep from getting penalized for short notice for not showing up to the depot for LP and Stark. Yeah, the problem is, though, if they've already accrued cost, or rather occurred, let me say, incurred. I said accrued, but I said incurred because I was doing incurred and accrued. I shoved it into one word. But if they've already incurred cost, if I've already had someone come in, they're going to take depot and whatever, any of that cost, lawyers got to be there and stuff. I already got that. They don't give me any notice whatsoever. Yeah, that's sanctionable for sure. So, quote unquote, free lawyer, not so free anymore, are they? So, yeah, I mean, that's their strategy they're planning. But yeah, they're going to launch some giant freaking conspiracy. The problem with their idea of conspiracy is they have no proof of conspiracy. They allege this giant conspiracy. They have no proof whatsoever. It's so nuts. You also have her own counsel referring to people as journalists while sending out things, asking us to cover things. So you don't get it both ways, You can't be like, oh, those people are blah, 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 and then mail things, sick other people on you to cover, and it's just nuts, So you don't get it both ways. April, thanks for the 2. Ron, 3 people missing. Oh, yeah. The 3 people are missing on there, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Now, the 3 people that are missing, why are they missing? Well, maybe, I don't know. Do they have their own counsel? Will they ever served? Does he even know their parties? I mean, who knows? Who knows? Puzzle Puzzler, thanks for the 4 months. Do the polyflop dance. Look like the worm, but floppier. I need a graphic of that, doing the polyflop. Oh, yeah, doing the polyflop. There, we just polyflopped. I like that one. I like how it didn't give an eye, Mom 2 boys, thanks for the 5. Some candy money for the little ones. Thank you there. Thanks for sharing all the info you get. I'm glad Jeremy mentioned you and Megan in one of the videos. So now, thank him. And, I look at it this way again. He deals with a lot of bullshit. Like these people, this isn't my life that these people are messing with, They're not across the street from me. That's like a particular thing. So if I can cover and I have the ability to annoy people when I talk about they're stupid, and game on, game on. Heck yeah. Puzzle Puzzler, thanks for that. Do the polyflop. Sung to the tune of George Michael's Jitterbug, the polyflop. The polyflop, I can hear it. It's funny. Tracy, thanks. Dropped 5 gifted memberships on folks. Thank you, Tracy. That is awesome. That is much appreciated too. Love it. Thank you. Kim, thanks for the 4 months there. With it being MG, will it be legal? I don't trust BBB. We'll see. We'll see what they try to pull. Again, this isn't far from over. They're going to try again for like what they say. They talk about people trying to generate YouTube content. They're like, oh, we've got a strategy going on. Ooh, tune in Sunday. Okay. Sticky widget. Thanks for the 5. Okay, I'm back. I'm working on beer 3 at the pub. Fishing talk is done. It's never done. I understand that there. So I'm engaged. Eagle eye. Get those likes up. Yes, I around here, it's almost fishing time again. I'll get out and fish a little bit. Man, I'll have time to do it in the daytime. That'll be fun. I'll get to take the girls out this year and fish with them some more. It's good fishing up here. I lived in this area called Dayton, Tennessee at one time. And in Dayton, Tennessee, the fishing there was so good. You could go, they have a little public park. They're a tiny little place. You can look it up, Dayton, Tennessee. But they have fishing tournaments there all the time, like big fishing tournaments that are sponsored there. There are so many fish around. You go to the park, walk around with fishing pole, just stop around, catch fish. Oh, man, I used to go down there every morning. I loved it. It was so amazing. I might have to go back up there. But when I lived up there, I would literally drive 3 minutes and go fish. It was pretty awesome. LU dropped 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, LU. That is much appreciated. I love it. Thank you. It's good to see you too. Kim, thanks for the 5. What happened to the rest of the defendants? Again, does he know they're there? Remember when he was talking about, hey, was this dropped? And he was like, yeah, it was dropped for Larry Foreman. and talking about the thumbnail case. And Reddy asked him, what about the rest of it? Oh, yeah, for them too. Yeah. So who knows, man? They may have never been served or anything. I mean, I don't know where that case, again, it was such a freaking dysfunctional mess. But they dismissed him. Kim, thanks for the 5. What happens to the rest of them now? We'll find out. Snowy, would I cover the filing? I did, So there you have the filing too. And yeah, I've covered every filing in here. I have my opinions on filings, but I try to cover everything, Now, I can't always cover everything because sometimes if I don't have access to something, I won't cover it. But I try to cover almost everything that I see. And sometimes, again, we get hit with so many documents in a day that I can't cover stuff. But like I said, I try to cover everything. And I honestly, I don't care in the moment if a document makes a person look good, bad, or ugly. If it's true or it's not true, I mean, it's going to be there, and part of court proceedings is character assassinating. Unfortunately, that is part of it, so you're going to have some stuff that is pretty nasty sometimes. But like I said, I tried to cover it all. Cindy asked the same thing with the defendants. Why are the others? No, they voluntarily dismissed. We'll see. What the heck? Like, why? Who knows? It looks like they make some of their files on Etch-a-Sketch pad, though. You know what I mean? Bunsen. What's a Bunsen rockin' stone? Thanks for there. She ran for public office. LOL. Indeed. She is a public figure. She's a limited purpose public figure. She has done so much stuff that she can't claim to be a private citizen. She's limited purpose. And unfortunately for her, hey, your mom, thanks for the 10. That could not have been LMNOP's post because the punctuation appeared proper. Indeed, it looked like somebody else put that up there. But we do know from the failure of the Ohio proceeding, that is her and she controls it. So she didn't admit that. Clarence, thanks for the 5. Filing 2 lawsuits, making a big deal and a bunch of content about them, then dismissing them voluntarily with the option to file again later. Polyflop who? Indeed, that's indeed it. That's what I'm saying. And when they're promising to bring it back bigger, badder, and better, and they have the audacity to claim that people are out there multiplying proceedings, really? Again, what bizarro fucking world am I living in here? I'm looking at them doing all of this stuff, trying to sell this idea that they're not. But as long as they keep doing it, the gravy train keeps rolling. They will never, ever leave Jeremy Hales alone. That is what I think. I think they will never. Sooner or later, the primary stuff, honestly, this stuff can take a lot longer. I don't know how long. And I hate to say that. I would like to be like, yeah, it's going to be over in a hot minute. But there will be a lot, even in the aftermath, there will be a lot of stuff. But It's crazy the level that people get away with crap too. You know, you think people are protected. Again, you're winning. You've got a protective order. You've gotten 2 violations. Person's still out there fucking acting the fool. Janice, thanks for the 10. Lynette, voluntarily dismissed 3 cases. And you were right on this, you know, because I forgot to put in the protective order. So there's a protective order. Silverman, grudge judge, thumbnail, trespass 5. You're right. Good note on that. Thank you. And Cheesy Nut Whiz, thanks for the 2. Megan Fox, breadstick and iced tea money. She should be back pretty soon, you know, by the way. That'll be good. You know, I've gotten used to streaming with Megan. One of the things I like that document we read today, I do like somebody handing off and having discussion about it, you know, instead of just, I'm not saying that, you know, I read plenty of documents there. It's just more fun to kick it off with somebody that you can goof off with. I'm sure she'll be back in good fine form, you know, next week. I'm sure that'll be good. DTG, thanks for the 10 there. The motion for sanctions starts the 21-hour clock for safe harbor law. It's not applicable. In this case, IMO. The motion for sanctions starts to 21K. Actually, they have 21 day. The motion for sanctions, they have the when they file, they have in Florida. They have. Let me pull this up. It's actually noted. Yeah, it gives them 21 days though for voluntary dismissal of unfounded claims without facing sanctions. So they get 21 days on that, and then they can potentially be sanctioned. So they have 21 days to withdraw a case or a claim. They didn't, like you said, unfortunately for them. Yeah. So they didn't. And you're right on that. Like they have, unfortunately for them, they're in trouble. You got to love it there. Travis, thanks for the 2. Fell off a bit for birthday, but sober again. Love chat. Hey, love to you, man. And remember, anybody out there, it really is a day at a time thing. If you face substance issues, it really is a day at a time. And you do your damnedest never to fuck up. But if you do fuck up, you don't let that derail your entire life. You pick it up, you fall off a bit, you dust yourself back off, and you pick up the next day. You minimize the damage and you roll on. And after a while, sobriety, after a while, it becomes maintained. Like for myself, I've talked about, I had terrible pain at one time. And it ended up being my appendix, but, well, I take that back. I had this terrible pain come up. It came up around, I can't remember what year, but I went through the ringer with doctor tests and couldn't find the reason for what that pain coming from. But it was right there with my appendix. It's terrible to deal with. And it was there for the longest time. And after that was when they used to give pills like candy. So instead, they just give you pain medication. Well, several years later, after just finally learning to live with it, because there's nothing else to do, my appendix ruptured. And when it did, after removal, the pain went away. So that was what it was there. But anyway, I ended up developing a problem because of that. They just kept giving me, I kept having pain. You know, pills only mask the symptoms. They don't stop it. So the cause was still there. And yeah, it gave me some real problems. So I struggled with keeping that under wraps. And I finally, when I found out that my daughter was going to be born, that's when I was like, you know what? I got to get my shit straight. And I'm not saying I never had a problem around, but I got it back in there. And you have to remember, you will fall down some days. When you do, you pick it up. I never wanted to be around my kids or anything. They've never seen me that way, thankfully. And they never will. You know, now I mean, I've maintained years of that. So I don't even have a problem even looking at it anymore. But it's rough sometimes in the go when you're getting there. I mean, it is a daily thing. So props to you, Travis. And love to you, brother. Teddy, thanks for the 10. For writing 5s for the long time. Thank you, by the way. That was awesome, you guys. Dwayne dropped a 50. Best part of the show is buckleup. I know they took over for a while today too. I thought it was good. And Bunsen noted, I won't talk about it. Yeah, like I said, that is her admission of criminality. What's up, Hale? Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to ThATuMBRELLAgUY. Appreciate you, by the way. It's good to see you, my friend. Always appreciate you, buddy. I mean, yeah, drop the 5 there. I thought that was so funny. I read it then too. Kids are cuter mind, so they get my money instead. That is really funny. And then Judy's this and that. This was awesome too. $5 for writing her 5s. Thank you. That's really nice of you too. Wheat Toast dropped a membership. Thank you for that gifted membership. That is amazing. Sexy Toast to Wheat Toast. Love it. I love it there. Whoa. Thank you for the 2 there. What happened to the other 3? Like I said, we talked about that. Who knows? With them two, who freaking knows? I mean, it's so wild. Taz, thanks for that gifted membership too. Thank you very much, Taz. Appreciate that. Just J Hip, thanks for the 5. By the way, have a live stream tomorrow. Just J Hip does. You should tune that in. They also, let me give them some love with this too. Guess what? They managed to get monetized. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? Fast run. Thanks to all you folks out there. That's just great. I love the fact that they managed that. And that'll be their first monetized stream. So go out there and give them lots and lots of views and lots of love. But guy wins less than Gingrich. Again, the motion to compel lunch already. I'm allergic to polymops, by the way. Me too. Me too. They make me bring out and cringe, you know. Yeah, I did see that Laura Owens. So there was a lady that was just arrested for faking pregnancy, by the way, using it for exploitation. And I kept thinking about Laura Owens and how we have a state where the person ran on their toughness on crime, and yet they do nothing about it. Isn't it weird? Joyce, thanks for the 2. Elemental appeal does create. It's called chaos. Well, that's it. Yeah. Wanda, thanks for the 20 there. Hey, Tug, Bug. Lots of love to all. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Wanda. That is awesome of you. It's much appreciated. Janice, thanks for the 20 there for that. I don't want to talk about it, Bug and her sister. Likes candy and dental care fun. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. That is awesome. They will. They'll love that. You know, we'll turn it into probably bead fun, to be honest. We're going to Hobby Lobby one day. That's what we'll do. Just J Hip, thanks for the 2. I like slap fights, but I never say it. Indeed. That's funny. Rogue Mama, thanks for the 5. Just J Hip, no. Is he losing a slap fight with me? Oh, man, we're going to have a square off there. Ding, ding, ding. It's going to be a fight. Sticky Widget, thanks for 5. Okay, I have to bail and get some dinner. Take care, all. And behave. I will know and I'll be vexed. I know, man. Don't want Sticky Widget going crazy. Sticky Widget, break out the Bunny Mom, thanks for the 20 there. Just some popcorn money and candy. Skinny popcorn rather than candy. Yeah, they love that skinny popcorn. My God, they love it. They love it quite a bit. Debbie, thanks for 5 gifted memberships there too. Thank you, Debbie. That is much appreciated. I love watching those fall. I really do. I have my favorites. Again, thanks for those beads. That was really cool. They love the beads right now. They're having so much fun with it. Rogue Mama dropped the welcome to the newest bestie host. Look, indeed. And Wormbert got love. That was nice for Wormbert to get some love there too. Shield Maiden dropped the love for Lug as well. That was awesome of you too. I have my favorites, like I said. Thank you. Those were very much appreciated. She loved those. They both did. They loved everything there. Necklaces and stuff. It's all good. They've had so much fun with it. They love, like I said, they love everything they create. And Rhea Ryan, her and Mark, they sent an airbrush kit. I can't tell you how much fun that thing's been. For me too. I've had fun with it too. I'm not going to lie. It's not just with them. Janice also dropped 20 there, like a bug. Here's some spending money, have fun making worms. Yeah, she's trying out different crafting. Man, I wish I would have been able to craft like have open-ended crafting and stuff. Like, it's so amazing. It's so amazing to watch her be able to create whatever. Like when I was a kid, we couldn't afford to do all of that, you know. And I'm glad that she can now. I'm glad she has the resources available to be able to just make and craft and explore that. And honestly, in this day and age, too, I want her to be able to, in this day and age, it's easier to pick up a microphone and potentially be your own boss than I want her to be able to figure out something that she can do for herself when she gets a little older, rather than have to go out 9 to 5 it for someone else, you know? And I say that as somebody that did that for many, 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 many years, you know? So, I mean, I've worked since I was, I wasn't even a teenager. I used to go out and do hay and all that good stuff. Cut tobacco. Well, that sucks. Hanging it, spiking it. Oh, terrible work. Hard work. Good work, but hard work. Building up barns, all that good stuff. I want them to be able to, though, to go out and, yeah, maybe they can make something out of that if they want to. Rummy, thanks for the 20 there, too. It's for the beads for the girls. Well, thank you for that, too. They definitely, like I said, they enjoy it there. Becky, thanks for the tip. Bugs, worm, and bugs, fish. Indeed. Thank you. They, I can't wait to see what they create. I'll take some pictures of them. Or a righty chick, thanks for the 10. 10 months, yeah. I've been lurking lately, but I love being here. I got some good news today. Still some issues, but I'll move forward and take the win. Good, good, good. You know, good news. It's always good. Well, it's like me. Like, okay, with my stuff, I have no idea what's going on. But I'll take the win for heart, like no heart. I will take that, you know. So I hear you, and props to you. Love to you too. Jack's mom, thanks for the 5. Vexatious litigation equals 5 suit. Ends in dismissal or against them. She's at 4. Federal counterclaim with judge. Thumbnail, trespass 5. Yeah, on top of this stuff too, you have to remember again, there's a protective order against her. Like where they do all this bullshit, you have to remember they can claim whatever they want and they can sell it to the ecosystem saying that the protective order was without merit or whatever they want to spin. And they can spin it to a bunch of morons out there. But the end result is not only is there a protective order against Lynette Preston and John Cook, but they have violated it repeatedly. They have several violations now. So they can spin that all they want. But, oh man, let's see. Hey, let's see what you got.
I made Wormette.
Wormette.
Yeah. Wormert's older sister, even though she's shorter.
Sissy won't let me have some string.
You can. You just don't have the scissors.
Yeah, now you can't have scissors, but Sissy will cut you a piece of string, okay?
I cut one for you and you didn't use it.
Cause it's not
Wormette and Wormbert. And they're both sisters.
No, man, it's like you girls, right? They're sisters.
Yeah, Wormbert. You didn't think Wormbert was a girl, did you?
No.
I didn't. What did you think it was?
A boy.
You thought it was a boy? No,
yeah.
But they're sisters. Look, one of them was taller than the other, like you guys. Oh
yeah.
My goodness.
The younger one is taller though.
What's Wormbert's sister called?
Wormette.
Wormette. Wormbert and Wormette. I wouldn't have thought it was a girl because of the name Wormbert. I'm just thinking, I've never met any.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie Vernon was a guy in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
and if you
Leslie Vernon, that's true.
And Leslie is usually a girl's name.
I know, but I've never met a Bert. You know, Bert is a very guy's name.
Okay, so is Leslie. It's a very girl's name.
Right, hey,
okay, she's trying to lick my armpit.
Gross. Do not lick people's arms. I don't be licking people. That's gross.
Also,
hey, what? You're going to get hit in the face on accident. She's going to hit you with her arm on accident.
Also, I made a Vincent Sinclair bracelet, and I made a little paper doll to go on it.
I saw your her paper dolls are really cool too.
Yeah, you need to take a picture of Wormette and Wormbert.
I will. Give them to me. I'll take a picture right now.
And you need to show it to everybody.
I will. I'll take.
Since everybody was demanding a picture of Wormbert.
Okay.
So they can have.
Yes, I
and I'm gonna make the whole Worm family.
Okay. Hey.
Family.
Hey, both of y'all work together and stuff though. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Make sure
she tried to eat a bead.
Make sure.
No, I didn't.
Don't put anything in your mouth, okay?
No, I didn't.
I know. I'm just saying. For no confusion, do not put stuff in your mouth, okay? No putting beads or anything like that in your mouth. And Sissy's going to use the Hey, big Sissy's using the scissors, okay?
I
Not
use
you.
the scissors in this house.
Yes, not you, kiddo. Okay? We've had a few incidents. All right, y'all go upstairs, though. Here's your babies.
Back.
I know, you want them back here.
Now show it to everybody.
I will. I'll show them. It'll take me a minute. I got to mail them over to myself. What in the world? You're behind your butt. You were. Oh my God. She was jumping up and down. She was like, I'm going to lick your arm. I mean, gross. She's trying to lick my armpit. Don't listen to what you have to do. Kids are funny, but my Lord, some of the things you're like, what is going on today? I got Wormbert and Wormat. Let's see. Give me a second. I have their picture. So you have to give me a moment here. It's not the greatest picture ever, but now she's never really made bead items either. So give me 1 minute. I got to pull him off here. Let me pull it over. Again, this is not the best picture I've ever made in my life for sure, but still. Like, there it is. So the green one is Wormbert. And the shorter one, that is Wormbert's sister, Wormat. Just a note. Wormbert. Bert. Everything, by the way. If I ask here, everything's a girl. Just a note. Like, for the girls, everything they create are girls. So I should have known that they were. That's my heating blanket they're setting on, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, that's her worm. And then her shorter worm. So I love that she creates so much stuff, though. And she's very creative. And those are her initial tries on everything. Also, hey, Janice sent a cash app 20. Thank you there for Lug, Bug, Wormbert, and you. I like how Wormbert has become part of the equation. That's really funny. That's awesome there. I love it. Give me 1 second here. Let me catch where I was. Thank you for that. That is really funny there. I like Wormbert threw in there. Amy, thanks for the 5 there. For the baby girls, much love to you guys. Thank you, Amy. That's awesome there. That is very cool of you, too. Angel, thanks for the 20 there. What's up, Angel? Hope you're doing good, too. For Bug and Lug, sending hugs and love. Nana Angel, indeed. Thank you there. That's awesome there, too. Turf Hurdles, hey, what's up? How you doing? I love that freaking picture, by the way, too. I know you know that I knew you knew. Yep. I know that you knew. Wait. There we go. I have my favorites. Thanks for the 2. I have a new package. Oh, that's awesome, too. I'll keep an eye out for it. I got to go over and check it anyway this week. Yeah, I'm going to check it. Carrie, thanks for the 5. Melbourne, Australia. Have they looked at your gallbladder? Yes, I do not have a gallbladder. I've had to take it out. I had my gallbladder and my appendix taken out almost in short order. So I do have a hiatal hernia, and that is one thing. It's being checked. That is the next thing to check. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can tell when those freaking meds, the blood pressure control meds, they wear off. It's like, oh, Lord. But through that. But yeah, gallbladder for sure. They create that look like symptoms, heart pain from you and others. I could see that. I mean, I had all kinds of issues with it. It was awful feeling, Karen also noted the trespass 5. It only listed 3, not 5. Yeah, again, it could be service or anything else, but they dropped the case. I mean, that's the thing. And it could just be the guy that was on the case may not remember how many people are on it if he had anything to do with it. And Joyce, thanks for the 2. The Lug and Bug Show, future superstars. Indeed. They are live stream hijackers too. What you doing, kiddo?
Hey.
I am getting ready.
Sissy locked me out of her room.
She did not lock you out.
Yeah, her did.
No, her didn't. Go tell her that those are your beads too. Go tell her. Say
no,
Dad
who
said.
locked the door? How
Well, then knock on her door and tell her.
Like ho-ho?
Knock on it. You know?
Like kick.
Not
Punch,
kick.
punch.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself. Kick, punch, and all that, okay? She's like kick, punch it. They argue like siblings. I can hear them arguing. She's like, don't lie to me. Oh, I hear her coming. Oh, no. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to get off here. I hear them warring. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here. We'll see you tomorrow. See you. I'm going to lose control otherwise here later.